With just 2 races left before the round of 12, 5 drivers have punched their ticket with many more looking to secure their spot. Who will take the checkered flag here at Richmond? You'll have to find out tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eliza Bethel alongside Tony Savoy for tonight. We're going to be missing Pete, but I got Tony here. Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I am so excited for this race. We've been watching practice for the last hour, and it started off fairly cordial, but we've seen a lot of slipping and sliding around as the practice has gone on, and you just have to ask yourself, will people be able to continue being cordial, or is this going to be a wreck fest coming up?
Yeah, I'm a little curious how it's going to go out here. I think, we talked about it before the practice here, during it, I should say. And I think at the start, we might see a few cautions. I mean, this car starts off extremely loose, especially coming off of 4. And as some of the drivers mentioned, going into 1. So I have a feeling if we can get past those first few laps, we're going to be on a green flag run here.
Yeah, green flag would be great. I think that then you got to deal with tire wear over fuel. We were talking to some of the drivers pre-race, and they think it could be a 1 fuel stop, but you certainly can't make this whole race on 1 set of tires or 2 sets of tires. So should be a very interesting race from that perspective as well.
Absolutely. Well, we are in qualifying at the moment, and we do have a few drivers out here. Let's take a look. We are on board with Jarrett Cardwell in that number 12 machine. We'll see how he comes out here with his lap times. I can tell you in practice, they were running around a 22.3. Right now, we're on the board with Tom Flitcroft, a 22.77, with Palmer coming in right behind 24:26. Honeycutt, he goes and takes the fastest lap at a 22:47, Tony.
That is fast, considering, as we already talked about, those tires are very slick. You're ice skating out there for the first couple laps before the car really starts to settle in.
Absolutely. And Tom Flitcroft, he answers right back a 22:31, which is right on par with what we saw in practice. I'm a little surprised, though, as you said, things were very, very loose out there at the start. So I'm surprised they have enough grip out here tonight to make that happen. But here we are. Andrew Sanford, he's going to be on the board with P5 now, 22:54. Matthew Upliger, he's out there with a 22:34. Times are extremely close. The top 4 drivers, all with a 3.
Yeah, it's Opliger. He was not actually that high at all during practice, and he put down a number of laps, so it's really great to see him come out and put down an excellent qualifying lap. And we talked about this as well. Being able to get that position for the race is huge because passing is going to be at a premium in this one.
Oh, absolutely. And we have Justin Anasagak. He just put a 22:23, the fastest we've seen all night. And Luke Allen, second on the board with a 22:27. We have not seen any 2s out here tonight, so these are the fastest that we've seen. And Justin, he sits on top of the pole right now. So great job for him. Brendan Book, he is out on track. Joe Berg, Francis Hamilton, Forrest Smith, Jimmy Cocker, all still waiting to get those laps in, along with Josh Taylor, Jose Ruiz, and Connor Cunningham.
Forrest Smith spinning it through the start-finish line to end his qualifying. Nice little fancy way of doing that. I do want to talk about Anasagak. I'm not biased towards anyone, but I do love that Halloween scheme he's got going for this race. But we'll keep an eye on him and see how he does. Currently sitting on pole.
Yeah, we'll see what he does. But man, I'll tell you what, he is the only one in the top 5 without a win. Everyone else has at least one win within the top 5. So I want to see him win here tonight at Richmond. I know he's pretty well locked in points, obviously, but we only have 2 races left, tonight and next week. So I want to see him get that win before we head into the playoffs. It'll be a nice momentum as he goes into the playoffs and get that nice points padding.
Absolutely, especially with next week being another 3/4 mile track in Darlington. And that's going to be, well, that's your reducer. My apologies. But it is another historic track in Darlington where you get a lot of hitting the wall and hitting each other with tight racing. So to be able to get that win this week and go into it with a little less pressure over that last race of the season would be huge for him or anybody else who doesn't have a win this season that could come home with that victory today.
Absolutely. Justin Anasagak, he is going to remain on pole. Francis Hamilton, he is going to be in second with Luke Allen third. And I see you guys out there in chat, Toro Motorsports. Thank you so much for tuning in. Chloe, Evan, I appreciate you guys. Hope you're doing well. And Brody Fallaker, how about that? Just last second, he gets a 22:19. And as soon as I say Justin is on pole, Brody Fallaker comes and takes it away.
Justin will still be sitting on the front row, though, so that'll be good for him. But on the outside, and I actually don't know where I'd rather start on this track. I think inside is probably the preferential area to start for the race.
Yeah, we'll see what they decide. But right now we're going to be headed into the warm-ups for these drivers. And let's go ahead and bring out the points here. We have Justin Anasagak. He's got 441 points. Sits atop the leaderboard here. No wins for him. Jimmy Cocker, he's going to be P2 with 402 points. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, I have not seen him tonight. He is safely in. He does have a win. He sits P3 with 371 points. Brody Fallaker sits P4 with 368. And Brendan Book, he got his win of the season. He sits in 5th, 363 points. All right, we have these guys out in practice currently. What do you think we're going to see during the race, Tony? Are we going to see a little bit of chaos at the start, you think?
You know, it's crazy. It's all dependent on the drivers that are not up near the front, that are trying to get in the playoffs. And you talk about having 2 races left before the playoffs come, and you've got to be in a hurry. You've got 180 laps. You've got plenty of fuel. So there's a lot of strategy you really need to think about here with tires, being patient. But the next thing you know, there's 20 to go. And if you're in the back of the pack, you're not going to get the points or the win that you need to potentially get the playoffs. So I think we could see quite a bit of chaos going on early here. But after the chaos runs through, maybe a long green run middle of the race.
Absolutely. And let's talk about the track analysis for tonight. We changed up stages. We've talked about it for the last couple of races, but we have 188 laps tonight here at Richmond. There's going to be no fast repair. Nothing has changed with that, nor will it for the remainder of the season. Stages, this is where things are different. We still have stages, and we are still going to award bonus points to our top 10 drivers. However, we are not going to have a caution come out. So these drivers, not only will they not be going in under caution to get those fresh tires, they still have to worry about tire wear. So our stage 1 will end on lap 40, the end of lap 40. Stage 2 will be another 40 laps, and then the final stage will be 108 laps. So they're in it for the long haul coming into the final stage. They have 4 tire sets to make the magic happen and try to get that win out here tonight. They're going to have to try to tire save. You can go probably 100 or so laps out here on fuel. Can't do that on tires though, Tony.
And I was looking, I actually did the calculation when I saw we have 4 sets of tires. That's 47 laps on average per set of tires. Now, when talking to some of the drivers pre-race, they said they could probably do 50 laps. So are they going to try to save a little more, hold on for a potential late race caution where they get a big advantage having that potential extra set of tires?
Yeah, I think strategy is going to be a little bit different for each driver. I think whoever's in the lead will kind of, gear everyone up and say, this is what I'm doing, and they may follow if they're within the top 10 or 15. After that, I think they're going to be on a whole different strategy. We'll see what they do, but I'm interested to see what happens. Hopefully we can get the long green flag runs in here, and we won't have to worry about, just seeing the cautions bring these guys in. That could switch things up also. If we have a couple of cautions, win. And are you going to take those tires? You really have to be careful on what you decide to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just thinking about the front, they'll dictate your strategy, but the back, they tend to dictate the cautions, and that'll throw strategy out the door every single time. So it should be an exciting one because you're going to have 2 pretty different races going on between the front of the pack and the back of the pack.
I agree. We have Hunter Johnson out here in that 30 machine with a 22.17. I did not see where he ended up qualifying at. He usually likes to start towards the rear of the field at certain tracks. I'm wondering if tonight is going to be one of those tracks. It'll be very interesting. And I see Pete out there in chat saying rhythm and clean air will be king at this 3/4 mile D-shaped local track. I can tell you a couple of drivers are saying that clean air is not a huge thing tonight. That will be interesting also to see what kind of lines they will be running. But you will have to take care of those tires. That will be the biggest story tonight and coming off those exits. If you get on the throttle too soon, you're going to be hitting that inside wall.
Well, we just had 2 drivers look like they were in line just putting some laps down. And we're talking about dirty air not having a problem, but the 81 of Forrest Smith, his car got upset running behind the other car that was in front of him, and he went for a ride on the straightaway. So maybe dirty air does affect other drivers a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll see. They're saying it didn't so much in practice, but race is a whole different thing out here. Let's get this grid started. We have Brody Falliker sitting on top of pole here. He's got Justin Anasagok to his outside. And in row 2, we have Francis Hamilton in that 48 machine with Luke Allen in the 7. Row 3, we're going to have Jimmy Cocker in the 11 machine with Tom Flitcroft in that 8. And in row 4 is going to be Forrest Smith in that 81 machine with Matthew Opliger in the 20. Row 5 is going to be John Honeycutt in the 50 machine with his teammate FTR Jordan McGraw in that 34.
As we head over to row number 6, we got Jose Ruiz, and he is sitting on the outside. Brennan Cook sitting in the inside of that number 5 car. Got a little delay, so I don't see the next set quite yet.
Hopefully it does it for you. All right, I'll take that from here. Matthew Gale in the 67 is going to be alongside Andrew Sanford. Micah Allard, he is in the 61 machine with Josh Taylor in the number 2. And Jarrett Cardwell in 17th with Joe Berg in 18th. Philip Bridgman in the 9 machine with Jeff No in the 14 machine. 21st is going to be Jacob Palmer in the 39 with Connor Cunningham in the 3. And we have Hunter Johnson in the 30 car with Mike Campbell sitting P24. And in the final row, we have Chuck Cody in the 31 car with Kevin Dallator sitting P26. And that is going to be your field tonight here at Richmond Raceway.
Got the cars all stacked up, taking that caution lap around. And we are about to go green here at Richmond. Looks like it's going to get dark during this race. How will that change the track conditions as well? We'll have to see.
We'll have to see. It should make it a little bit more grippy. We'll find out what it does, but we'll see these guys go around here and what they can do, getting all lined up. I think, you know, I hate to say it, but lap 1, turn 1, it is always chaotic, especially when you hit those exits. I think we're going to have to watch what these guys do, especially in the rear of the field. We're going to have to find out if they handle it all right.
Absolutely. I'm keeping an eye middle of the field right now, and we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to this one. Lights appear to be off on the pace car, as we are going to see it go off the track. Green flag is out, and this race has begun here at Richmond.
Here they go, Brody Falliker, side by side. This is all ready for the lead. We've got Justin, who takes over the lead. Brody Falliker falls back to second. Francis Hamilton in third, Luke Allen in fourth, and Jimmy Cocker is going to round out the top 5.
Everyone racing fairly cordial right now, although as we're talking about them shuffling around for position, nobody's running real tight up on the back of anyone, and they've made it around a couple times. Not really expected. I did believe we'd have a very early race caution, meaning in the first lap or two, but it's starting to look like some of these cars are already getting into a line and maybe settling in for a bit here.
You know, around 13th or so, I saw a couple of cars off exit slam into the wall. So I know some of these drivers have some right front damage. We'll see how that makes them feel later on in the run. But for now, they are off and running still. And we're on board Matthew Gale in that 67. That is going to be for P12. He's got Jordan McGraw to his outside. These guys are still going for every position. But passing-wise, I'm not sure it's going to be an easy task. The 81 for Smith, he's around the 20, narrowly gets around him, might have made some contact.
Now, was that a self-spin by Forrest, or did he get some help by the 20?
See if we can find out what exactly happened.
I saw the end of it.
See if we can back that up a little bit. It looks like he made some contact with the wall. Yeah, a little bit of contact with the wall. The 20, I don't see any contact between the two, but the 81 hits the wall, comes down. The 20 has nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go, yeah.
Hopefully not a lot of damage to that.
Looks like, yeah, car contact is a little bit less damage than running right up in the wall. That's just unfortunate for Forrest. He was up there pretty far early on. And, he's going to have his work cut out for him now to try to get back up through the pack.
Not great start from Matthew Opliger. Just nowhere for him to go. I'm trying to see if he's got any damage. He does have some left front damage. You can see it right there on his machine. So I'm sure he's not very happy, as he will probably have to go in to get some of that repaired.
It should be interesting. One of the things that you see so much in leagues and just races in general, cars jumping onto pit road and getting tires almost every single time. But of course, with this race, this league, we've only got 4 sets of tires, so a lot of people just staying out. And another thing, when these other drivers get off, the ones who do go onto pit road, they'll need to remember to uncheck getting new tires when they're getting repairs.
Absolutely. You saw a couple of drivers go in probably to get some damage or perhaps fill it up with fuel. I don't imagine anyone is going to take those tires. We'll see what happens, but we have Justin out here in the lead, and I can tell you, Micah, he said earlier tonight, he said, if I'm in the lead, don't get me in the booth. That jinx for the booth is definitely a thing. The last time we talked to him, not too long after, I do believe he wrecked out.
That is unfortunate. The booth curse is in fact real. So we'll go ahead and let them settle in for a while before we start bringing drivers in for a conversation under caution.
Justin still looking for that first win. He is going to lead us back to green in that 4 machine. Such a solid run. Leader in the points, just no win yet. I'm kind of curious if tonight will be the night. He seems to have such a great start of the race, and then something happens. I know he's told me a couple of times that something happened when he goes into pit lane, misses his stop, gets a speeding penalty, whatever it may be. Hopefully tonight is the night where everything comes together for him.
It's one of the things of some people that don't watch racing so much. They think these cars just go around in circles, turning left the whole time. They don't realize the strategy and how difficult it is to do something like get onto pit road, get yourself down to the right speed, avoid hitting the wall, stopping the car, but still doing it fast enough that you aren't losing position.
Green flag, green flag.
Ooh, and
Go
big
back to
jump
green.
by Justin. As
Yeah.
the green flag flies again.
He is able to lead us off. It's on his go as long as it's in the pit box, and he takes full advantage of it. He's got Francis Hamilton directly behind. He's going to take that high side. Looks like Francis going to try to jump on that high side, bring it down low, and we have 2 wide battles all the way through the field as they try to battle for position.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Francis Hamilton. He was kind of in practice, not really up there. And then he had a he had a pretty good qualifying time, and now he's running in 2nd place. And it's interesting how different it is when you're talking about practice, qualify, and race. Every single one of those situations are completely different for the driver.
You know, and those FIWB drivers, and there are quite a few of them, they are just showing huge improvement every week. And Francis Hamilton coming out here, he's sitting P2 right now, doing a fantastic job. And I want to see him in the booth tonight, getting a top 3. He's got a teammate, Brody Fallaker, directly behind him. We'll see what they do. And hey, let's not leave out Jimmy Cocker. So a couple of drivers out here in the FIWB in the top 5.
Yeah, it's always nice to have teammates on the track with you. Takes a little bit of that stress out, even regardless of position as far as the playoffs go, when you know that the drivers around you aren't going to do something super aggressive when you maybe go for a pass or you're just following them. And also, you've driven around some of these drivers for so long being teammates that you can kind of figure out what they're going to do on the track. And that really takes a lot of the pressure off of you as a driver.
Oh, yeah. You know, driving in the league is so much about you have to trust the drivers around you. I mean, if you don't, you're walking on eggshells just trying to determine when something is going to break loose, when they're going to brake check, what's going to happen. I mean, not only do you have to worry about your own driving, you got to worry about everyone else's driving. And we're on board currently with Andrew Sanford, and he is sitting P16. So take a look at this traffic around him. Not a lot of places to go. You're just trying to save those tires, keep that car straight, and put in some laps.
As I watch Sanford, we've got a caution that flies. I did not see what it was for. Do we have a car towards the back spin out?
Looks like Jeff Noah's involved. Let's take a look, see what happened here. Ooh, let's go back a little bit. It's like he got tagged by that 31 machine, so just nowhere for him to go. He goes straight to the outside wall. That's going to be a ton of damage for Jeff No. He's going to have to go in and get that repaired. I think that's going to be possibly taking him out for the race. We'll see.
That's one of the things we talk about that's towards the back of the pack and maybe a little bit of impatience going on there. But honestly, you don't need to crowd the other drivers that much, especially this early in a race. Give people a little bit more room and live to drive another lap. And you just don't think that Noah's going to be able to get back on the track. I'd be shocked with that damage if he's going to get out there at all.
Second caution.
Crab walking down the track, sorry. I'm watching him, and it's definitely, it's driving half sideways right now, trying to get back on a pit road.
That is not anything you want to see, and there's the crab walk that Tony is talking about. Really, really unfortunate. You know he's hurt out there. That is insane. Hopefully we'll see him back out there, but I think it's going to be a bit. Man, oh man. Second caution of the night. We're on lap 17 of 188, and I'll tell you guys, before tonight's race, I should say, I looked up Xfinity on iRacing, just a league race, to see what are we in for, what kind of driving is going on here. And I can tell you by lap 20, 3 leagues that I looked up out of 3 all had like 6 cautions before lap 20. That just shows you how difficult this track is. It's loose going in, it's loose coming out of turn 4. You get on the throttle too early, you're done. And you're going to take a couple of cars with you, unfortunately. So these guys, they just have to save their tires, be easy on the throttle, know your braking points, and hope that everyone else around you can do the same.
Yeah, it was about 7 laps for the first caution, 8 laps for the second caution, so it's been pretty consistent so far. Hopefully they get it figured out and be able to get a little bit longer drive going on.
I feel like it's been just a quick happening. It's not like a huge pile up or just beating and banging off each other. It's just simply a tiny bit of contact that causes a ton of chaos for 1 or 2 drivers, which, you feel terrible for those drivers. You want to see them in the race. You want to see them do well. But I think that if we can just get through that part, we are going to have a long green flag run. Remember, stage 1 ends at lap 40, the end of lap 40 coming to 41, and we will award the top 10 drivers their bonus points.
Looks like Jeff Noah has exited the car. His day is over.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was going to be the case. I mean, I would imagine, I'm not going to guess, but it's got to be over 30 minutes in damage. I mean, that was a pretty big one. If it can even be repaired, it's probably over that. So, yeah.
Not sure that
crazy.
the pit crew bought enough duct tape to repair that car.
I think you're right. That was a big one. Sin and Rage, he's out there racing right now. He says going for season 1 repeat. That is going to be Hunter Johnson sitting P14 at the moment. And I want to bring him in, but I'm telling you what, the jinx is real, and we're getting ready to go back to racing as he is warming up those tires. Say hi to everyone, Hunter. Blink twice if you hear me. We're getting ready to go back to green.
Yeah, Hunter starting way back in the pack. He's moved himself up quite a bit already, so good for him so far as we go green flag racing. And that number 4 machine gets another huge jump. He has got that down to a science right now. We've got some good racing going on as Falliker and Hamilton, and a caution comes back out right away. This is what you get worried about. Cautions do what?
They breed cautions.
Exactly.
Or Smith involved in his second one of the night. Let's take a look at what happened here. The 39 just off the throttle quite a bit, and the 81 just runs right into the back of him, spins him around, and yeah, these two already in the chaos, and that's going to bring out our third caution of the night. This is crazy. Let's see if we can get it back together. What's unfortunate for Palmer
is he had actually just come off pit road. I saw him get out in front of the pace car to stay on the lead lap, and he's, of course, in the back of the pack, and I'm not sure if he was trying to stop himself from sliding out or something. But yeah, that 81 of Forrest Smith had nowhere to go. Pile drives right into the back end.
Kind of crazy. Unfortunate to see for Jacob there, and Forrest, I know he's going to have some damage from that impact here, but we're coming to the point where we're halfway through what I think these guys can get through on a tire run. Obviously, we're doing some caution laps. That's going to allow these drivers to save a little bit in tire if they're taking care of it. You see Forrest Smith out there in pit lane. We have Tom Flitcroft. Kind of curious to see him and why he's out there. You can see some damage on that left front center. So he was involved in some chaos himself.
Yeah, I was kind of reanalyzing that accident, and I will say that Forrest did a really good job of getting on the brakes after the contact, though. It just showed that he was not trying to drive through that 39 machine. It was unfortunate. That's a racing deal right there. Maybe he wasn't paying as good of attention, got on the brakes late, but as soon as he popped him, he stayed on the brakes, and he didn't try to drive through him the rest of the way.
All right, everyone in chat, let me know who is your driver. Who do you think's going to win tonight? Justin looks strong out there, but we haven't had a super long run. Brody Fowler's going to be starting directly next to him in second. Francis Hamilton is going to be starting exactly where he started the race in P3. Matthew Opliger, he has moved up 4 spots, sitting P4 currently. And Jimmy Cocker rounds out the top 5 with Brendan Book moving up 6 spots to P6.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of shuffling around, I think, especially if these cautions continue and people start to think that this is going to be a trend through the race. I think you're going to see even more aggression with these cars that are in the back or middle of the pack, trying to get as many places as they can get before we get that next caution coming out. We are all kind of hoping right now for a long green flag run, because I'd rather the strategy be based on your tire wear than based on the accidents that are happening on the track.
Beautiful sunset out here tonight, and Justin decides to take the high side on this restart, so it will be under his go in the restart box. Brody Fowler is going to be starting beside him. He's going to have to keep track of where he is. Maybe that 48, his teammate, will help him and say it's time to go, get him moving, but he does have some help by teammates, the 48 and the 11, as we go back to restart.
Could be interesting. Justin has taken that outside lane at least the last 2 times, and he has gotten a huge jump out, but he hasn't had to take on Falliker on the inside yet. So I am curious. Lights off on the pace car. We're going to be going to green just in a moment.
Watch these guys go down the back stretch. I just love the skies out here as the sun is setting and we're getting ready to go back to green, but man, oh man. Let's get some green flag run in here. I want to see the laps tick down. We have 188 out here. It's going to be a long one. The 42, not a great start. That kind of backs everyone up. The 11 going to go underneath, making it 3 wide heading into the first corner. You can see it right there. Absolutely insane, but they make it through so far. Fingers crossed, you guys.
Oh, that was intense. Yeah, the 48, he drops back a handful of spots as he gets passed on the inside by Cocker. But you're right, that 3 wide, that could have been dangerous to the entire field. You've got drivers way up front running side by side pretty tight. And you wonder if they're just their cars are getting a little tighter now that we've run a handful, well, not a handful, more than a handful of laps under green flag. And as you and I both know, these cars tighten up and they feel a lot more stable with some wear in these tires.
You said it right there. I mean, we really do have to watch it. And as we go back to green flag, the 50 of John Honeycutt hits the wall, almost gets into that 2 as they were side by side. You see a lot of movement throughout the field as they are trying to keep it off the wall when they are getting loose coming out. But man, oh man, what a close battle. You see the 61 Micah, he's got Connor Cunningham getting very, very loose as he's trying to make his way around. He somehow manages to save it, and I'll tell you what, that is a huge thing to be able to save these cars when they get loose. Normally, you cannot at this track. you get loose, you're automatically heading into the inside wall.
I know I did it quite a few times when I brought it out, and that what I did notice, when you're racing against these other cars and you're trying to get that position, you want to give it just a little bit more gas coming out of the corner, and that's where everything goes wrong, and you beat the inside wall.
On board with Connor Cunningham sitting P19. He's got Philip Bridgman in that 9 machine directly in front of him. We see Micah in the 61, 2 cars ahead. Just listen to Connor as he just absolutely feathers the throttle, trying to make it through. You gotta take it easy coming out of the exit. Make sure that you don't get on the throttle too much too soon. And he's doing a great job. These guys seem to be heading in to a rhythm and consistency, knocking out these laps, Tony.
Yeah, you know, and I got to give a huge shout out to all the drivers right now. We've had a few quick cautions, as you said, no huge pileups so far. We're only 33 laps in the race, but honestly, they make it look easy out here, and it is not. It is not easy. It's not easy to keep this pace up. You're around other cars. Some of these people know if I don't get a win, I have no shot at the playoffs. Some drivers, I need these points to secure my spot in the playoffs, and they are all around each other doing a really good job right now.
Yeah, we're coming up, 6 to go until we hit that end of stage 1. So our top 10 drivers will receive the bonus points, and our biggest mover so far is going to be Hunter Johnson. He's out here P10. He will get some bonus points, but I'll tell you what, he's a part-time driver. Doesn't really matter for him, but Matthew Gale is looking to knock him out of the top 10 to try to get those points. And man, oh man, Hunter just taking that down low, a little bit of contact almost with that 50 machine. They are still holding it down, and Hunter, he is just on a run to get up to the front of the field.
Well, that's one of those things you get with a real race car driver. He's going to know where to be aggressive, when he can be aggressive, and the only wild card there really is the cars around him when he makes those moves. Are they going to react like a real race car driver would? Not likely. And so he's got to be real cautious about those aggressive moves, because he can be taken out of the race just as quickly by another driver when he tries to make a move that maybe he can make on the real track.
Yeah, absolutely. A great point with that. I mean, you do have to realize that, if you're a professional, other people around you may not be able to react in such a way. So I'm sure he's used to racing around that on iRacing. So we'll see how he makes it through. But our top 2 drivers, they're creating a huge gap between them and third place of Matthew Opliger. A great run for these two. It doesn't look like Brody is in too much of a hurry to try to take over that lead. He's got 2 wins, so he's doing great out here. Justin logging in those laps. He's getting the bonus points for most laps led so far in the race and leading a lap. We'll see if he can get it done for stage 1 points.
Yeah, I kept an eye on them in the beginning, and I noticed how they were driving away, and I'm glad you brought that up. What they could really do now, since they're so far ahead, they aren't continuing to drive away. They can just hang out with each other and save tires, and that is where the difference of being in the front and being in the back is such a huge deal. Drivers, again, in the back or in the middle, trying to move up, get those stage points. Oh, and as I say it, Falliker jumps the inside and is challenging Anasagak. I don't know. I would have stayed back. I would have preserved tires. We've got a long race to go, but this is for the stage win. I get that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Falliker was able to take it. It was going to be Justin Anasagak. He took that stage win. Brody trying to capture it, just did not have enough. We are officially on stage 2. It's going to be another 40 laps. It should be the end of lap 80. The bonus points will go out to the top 10 drivers, with P1 getting 10 bonus points and P10 receiving 1. And Evan in chat says, man, this track is still showing how slippery it really gets with the old surface. You said it great right there, Evan. It's a very slippery track, but I will tell you, it does tighten up as the run goes on, which is good news for these drivers.
Opliger has gained 2/10 as these guys have gone side by side, and now Falliker takes the lead. And we're going to see if maybe Anasagak will stay in the back, and we'll start to see them stretch that lead again. Remember, as you all know now, our stage breaks are not breaks at all. It's just the end of a stage, and they keep driving like we have seen in some of the road course races in the Real Cup Series.
Yeah, I think it's great in the fact that it changes strategy a little bit. I mean, you have to still worry about the tires. You don't have a stage break. You don't have a caution to come in and automatically take the tires. This makes it so you do have to take care of them, and you're maybe not going to drive as aggressive. We saw that with our top two drivers, Brody Falliker and Justin. They waited till lap 40, where Brody Falliker tried to pass Justin, saving the tires before that, and now you see he's in the lead.
Yeah, and he has stretched this lead out to 7/10. And although I thought Anasagak was going to drive away from Opliger, it's not actually happened, as Opliger has started to creep up on him a little bit. That gap not as far, of course, as Falliker has on third place. And it's interesting to see. Maybe Falliker was saving the tires, because he has started to really drive away from everybody since making that pass for the lead.
Yeah, I've noticed with Justin Anasagak and that Ford machine, you can see him right behind Brody right now. He has an amazing start of a run, and then sometimes falls back a little bit. And I think right now we're seeing that tire wear really play a factor in this race. We're on lap 48 of 188. We have a ton of racing left to do, and I'm kind of curious, when are we going to start to see our first set of pit stops?
Yeah, I would say for some of these drivers, you might see it coming up in the next lap or so, to be honest. If they've done the calculations, they know that that window is open on those 4 sets of tires. I do want to make a note. Hunter Johnson has moved himself up into 6th place, but also by passing Francis Hamilton, Hamilton has dropped back from 3rd place to 7th since the restart. And he got kind of a slow restart. So interesting to see that on the track right now.
Absolutely. And no one in our top 10 at least has taken any tires, so we know we can get around 50 laps these guys were running. Tire wear, they're starting to feel it. We did have a couple of cautions that's going to allow them to save some of their tire, but if they are trying to get that back, they're going to have some tire wear issues. I think, as you said, we're going to start seeing some pit stops very, very soon.
We almost just saw everybody go under a caution, because Johnson just poked his nose under Cocker, and I don't know if Cocker knew he wasn't clear. He about drove right over the front end of Johnson. That would have been a big wreck. We had 4 or 5 cars right up on each other, but they made it work, and Johnson takes another position.
All the way up to 5th. He's gained 18 spots from where he started. Absolutely insane. He is our biggest mover of the night. The next one is going to be the person right in front of him, Brendan Book, who has moved up 8 spots. That means Hunter Johnson has moved up 10 more spots than Brendan Book, as Brendan sits P4.
You got to wonder, as a professional driver, if maybe he does it on purpose. He likes the challenge of trying to work his way up through the crowd. Brendan Book moving up 8 spots is awesome, just showing that he deserves to be in the playoffs, as he already is with his win secured at Auto Club earlier this season.
Hunter Johnson going to dive it in low. That's going to be for P4. A little bit of contact. Yeah, it's crazy. These two going side by side. We'll see if Hunter Johnson can complete the pass. He's got some momentum going into the corner, but not enough coming out, as Brendan is going to be that on that high side contact between the two. They still hold on to it.
Him tight, and I don't think that Johnson appreciated that, as he drove way high exiting the turn. Book had nowhere to go, bounces off the wall, bounces off of Johnson, but they keep their cars rolling, and Johnson just finishes the pass.
See if Brendan gets on his tail. I can tell you, Hunter Johnson, he has hit that wall coming out of the exit several times now. I'm kind of curious how much that is going to affect his car around this 3/4 mile track. We'll see what it does, but known him in these races to hit the wall coming out of the exit. So I'm not too terribly surprised, but I think in the long run, this might affect him if he does it several more times a little bit harder.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I also want to mention Book with his contact with the wall. I don't think that's. I think that might be why he's falling back on Johnson, because Book was holding pretty strong against Opliger, and now he's kind of falling back as I see Cocker taking a look, and even Hamilton back there is kind of stacked up a little bit.
Yeah, a couple of these drivers definitely making some contact with the wall, and Hunter Johnson, he's taking over position from Matthew Opliger. Matthew into the wall. Hunter Johnson is going to gain 20 spots up to P3. Meanwhile, our leader, Brody Falliker, take a look at this lead. Over 2-second lead over second place. Justin Anasagaku is really riding that yellow line down there around the corners.
Yeah, and to have over a 4-second lead over the rest of the field. Chill out, guy. Stop showing the field how to class it. This is crazy. He is having just an awesome run so far. Hopefully, he'll be able to maintain that kind of dominance with restarts and after going on to pit road, because again, pitting is a huge part of racing, and you got to be able to do that well as well.
Brody Falliker, he got his win at Rockingham, and then he got another win at Las Vegas. So kind of different tracks here. Can he get it again here tonight at Richmond for a third win, which will be the most wins out of all these drivers for this season? It'll be very interesting to find out, but man, oh man, a great run so far tonight here for Brody.
We've got some drivers starting to get onto pit road, and the leaders are remaining out, and why not? If you're able to stay out front, run those tires for as long as possible. We talked about strategy. We talked about opportunity to maybe have that extra set late in the race, or at least take a very late race set of tires to really drive away from the pack when everybody else is struggling. So nice to see the leaders being able to stay out and ride on these older tires while some of the other drivers try to get some advantage by pitting early and maybe getting some positions from these drivers staying out.
You can see just even on the track map how much distance is between our first and second place, and then second to third, about almost another 2 seconds. So absolutely incredible, the run that these guys have, where you can see the camera on the backstretch as these guys are making their way through. A ton of drivers mid-pack and towards the front. But man, oh man, these guys starting to spread out a little bit. I'm curious though, I want to see when these drivers are going to go in. Lap 64 of 188. Remember, stage 2 ends at the conclusion of lap 80.
I do want to note for everybody out there, Chuck Cody, Thomas Flitcroft, Jacob Palmer, Jeff Noe, all many laps down. We know Jeff Noe is out, Jake Palmer is out, and Thomas Flitcroft is also out. Chuck Cody may still be trying to get repairs to put down some extra laps and get some extra points in this race.
All right, I want to go through the field here as we see these guys just getting these green flag runs in. I gotta love it. Brody Falliker leading the field here. He's got Justin Anasagak sitting P2 with Hunter Johnson. He's going to be in third, up 20 spots from where he started. Matthew Opliger sitting P4. We have Mr. Jimmy Cocker sitting P5 with the number 5 machine is going to be Brennan Book. He sits P6. Francis Hamilton is going to be 7th, and it looks like he's about to be under attack by the 7 machine of Luke Allen. Josh Taylor is going to be 9th, and Micah is going to round out the top 10.
Taking a look at actually 11th down, we've got Honeycutt sitting in 11th place, Jose Ruiz sitting in 12th, Andrew Sanford in 13th place, while Matthew Gale is in 14th. Jordan McGraw, he sits there in 15th place with Jarrett Cardwell in 16th. Connor Cunningham in 17th. Joseph Berg, 18th. Philip Bridgman?
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, okay.
Bridgman.
In 19th, And we've got Forrest Smith, couple accidents on the track, but he is still on the lead lap in 20th place. Kevin Delator sitting there in 21st. Mike Campbell in 22nd. And then we've got Chuck Cody, as I just talked about. He's still off track. And then our DNF racers so far, Thomas Flitcroft, Jacob Palmer, and Jeff No, rounding out the field.
Tony, I gotta wonder when these guys are gonna go in. We thought around lap 50. That's what these guys were talking about in practice. Here we are, lap 70. How do you think they're feeling right now?
You know, I wonder if they are as surprised as we are at the tire fall off just not being as bad as they thought. Because, yeah, we had talked and I had brought up, I had said, hey, do you think you go 50? And it was not a confident yes, it was a yeah, I think so. So we kind of put that as a staple as, yeah, probably 50 laps. But you're right, we're sitting at 71 total laps. Now we've had maybe 10 laps of caution, but still that's 10 laps past what we thought these drivers were going to do. So very interesting. And now we're not even really thinking about them preserving tires to be able to have, make it with 4 sets. Now they're just like, yeah, we can make it on 3 probably, which is a full pit stop less.
You can see Hunter Johnson sitting P3rd currently. He's all over the steering wheel. You can see how much he's got to turn it at this point, which means those tires are definitely worn down. I mean, he's almost at, I would say, 8 or 9 o'clock turning left. So we'll see when they come down, but Johnson still out there. Our leader, Brody Falliker, he is still out there. Let's stay on board with him for a second and find out how he is running as he makes his way up to some traffic, and that's going to be Kevin Delator in the 92.
Caution's out.
And there it is,
radio
folks.
been
The
today. Can you hear me
caution
fine?
comes out. You've got cars with new tires on the track. You've got cars with really old tires on the track, and something's bound to give, and it does.
Getting news that it was Brody Falliker. Let's find out what happened here. The 20 machine right next to the 11. We'll find out what exactly went down between the 2, and the 20 is just going to get into the side, or the 11 gets into the side of 20. Not sure which, but either way is going to end with the 11 around. So unfortunate right there. That's going to be Matthew Opliger and Jimmy Cocker.
I will say for Cocker, I don't know if his race will be over. It looked like he was about to head in like we've seen earlier in the race and the whole front end, but he ended up getting it around a bit more in the angle he came in, damaged the front left, but he didn't get that full front end damage that's race ending, so he might be able to get it back out there. We're on a short track. Maybe he can fix it and get back out. I don't know how important it is. He's got the win at Dover. He's in the playoffs. We'll have to take a look and see what he decides to do.
Probably a little bit of frustration out there for Jimmy Cocker as he's got to come in and get that damage repaired, but the damage could have been a lot more severe, as you stated. Unfortunately, not what he wants to see. And we have a fan out there of Matthew Opliger. He says he's gonna win. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well out there. And we are under caution, lap 76 of 188.
I didn't see it. Did Falliker go down pit road? Because he has a huge lead over everybody. And Anisagak and Johnson came out at the same time. Anisagak able to take the position, not the position, but come back out in the same position, not losing it on pit road.
Yeah, Brody, he is making his way into his pit stall right here. So you can see him in, and Justin Anisagak is going to take over that lead. Hunter Johnson in second. Let's take a look and see if they have made their way in. Very interesting.
They did. Yeah, they both did. I watched them come off the pit
did.
road. That's why I was asking about Falliker. I'm like, what is going on? Falliker going to probably fall to the back, and I don't think you want to be in the back right now, especially with everybody coming back out on fresh tires.
Curious if he got a speeding penalty or something happened with that, and he had to go back in. Very interesting to find out, but this pit took 15.17 seconds, so didn't look like anything out of the unusual. Really wish we knew.
Yeah, we're going to have to ask him maybe post-race, find out what happened there because I'm real curious to know, did he maybe forget because he was out in the lead and just didn't see the other cars going onto pit road? And, you get into a groove. He was so far ahead of everybody else, he might have missed the opportunity to go down pit road on the first lap when everybody else did. I do also want to ask Micah Allard, when you brought up the tire wear, the last pit stop, it looked like he did not pit under this caution. Is that correct?
We'll have to find out, but we have Brody on board with us currently. It's Eliza in the booth. How you doing out there, Brody?
Well, I was doing good.
What happened? We saw you take a pit stop there again. What happened?
Well, race control was unclear about whether it was the end of the stage or not, and that call came a little too late.
Ah,
Oh, no.
So,
man, unfortunate to see.
yeah, I got my first stage win of the year, so positive. We'll see if we can drive through the field right here.
I think
You
you'll
have
be
got
able
a
to.
rocket ship, sir. Yes, you showed nothing, and the only thing that's going to prevent you is the other drivers around you. Definitely not the speed in that car.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll put him back in his team chat. Thanks for chatting with us, Brody.
Yep.
Unfortunate to see, heard just a late call. He wasn't sure if they were ending the
Green
stage
flag.
right there, as lap 80 is the end of the stage. And here they are, lap 80, and it's going to be, I would say, the start of stage 2. Justin Anasagak leading the field as they go 2 by 2 all the way through, Tony.
Yeah, turn 1, we've got the 61 of Allard actually getting a little loose coming out of 2, and he's going to back it up a bit. But another great start by Anasagak. He gets the jump on Johnson. Johnson kind of falls in line. I'm really excited now, though. What happened?
Chaos. I can't even find who it happened with, but it looks like a couple of drivers into the grass, and they might have kept going, but man, I'm surprised that didn't bring out a caution.
I got excited for a second there because I was looking, Falliker has already moved up a couple spots, and that's going to be the crazy part of this race now, to watch and see where he's going to end up after that race control mishap. And Johnson, he's eyeing the back of Anasagak. He's going to jump to the inside. It's just a matter of time before he takes that position away. It's like a shark in bloody waters. He is looking to get his kill.
Yeah, cue the Jaws music. He has got, Justin is under attack by Hunter Johnson all over the tail, just putting pressure on him. And here he goes down for the dive, trying to take over the lead. They are too wide. Justin not going to give that up, but how long will he last with that? He knows tires are going to be an issue. He's got to save him, but can he do it and keep the lead? It looks like Hunter's going to take that over.
Hunter takes it, but I'm going to give a huge props to Anasagak there because he didn't hold Hunter down real tight on the line. He knows there's still 100+ laps left in the race. There is no need to crowd him for the lead. You're in second place. You're having a stellar performance. And he also knows that Johnson is a part-time driver, so we don't need to worry about him for points. He can focus on his own race.
Absolutely. You know, Justin, he still doesn't have a win. He wants that win, but it is not worth it to lose the amount of tires that you need to finish this race. We're on lap 86 of 188. Still have just over 100 laps to go. It is not worth the fight currently. And we have Hunter Johnson in the lead, Justin in second. Brendan Book, he's going to be a little bit back as he sits in P3. Luke Allen in fourth, and Francis Hamilton, he's going to round out your top 5.
Brendan Book, though, making a nice drive. He had started to fall back and was struggling. He had hit the wall when he was racing against Cocker earlier in the race, and he had fallen back, and it appeared he was having a hard time staying up with the drivers, and he had started to lose some position. Now he's pit, obviously got some repairs, got that fresh rubber on, and he is flying in third place, keeping the rest of the field behind him, of course, helping Anasagak and Johnson drive away from everybody else.
Yeah, you know, I see a theme happening here. The top 2 drivers getting away from the rest of the field, and it looked like Justin perhaps hit the wall a little bit coming off the exit, or it could have been Hunter Johnson. But yeah, you're going to see that a lot more tonight. And AK Big Boy says, let's go number 4. I'll tell you what, he's had an amazing season, sitting P1 in points, but I still want to see him get the win. I know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd like to see the win tonight in this Halloween paint scheme. And honestly, when I hear your first place in points, that means you're a consistent driver
Yes.
week in and week out when you don't have a victory and you're leading in points. So you can't help but to root for somebody like that to end up in victory lane. Well deserved if he's able to make that happen tonight.
Absolutely. You can see we're on board with seventh place, John Honeycutt in that 50 car. He's going side by side with Micah Allard, and these guys just going for every position. Lap 91 of 188. We are in the final stage. This is where you just have to play it for the long run. Make sure you save those tires. Plan out your strategy. Talk to your teammates. When are you going in? And find out when that P1 driver might be going in. Are you going to follow?
Yeah, it's interesting right now. I'm actually starting to wonder. Now, I definitely don't think anyone's going to drive this race out on the tires. They're going to have to make at least one more stop. I'm going to say one more, but of course, caution at the end of the race can change all of that. People could go in just to get right sides or get 4 tires, depending on what the leaders do. Or if you're waiting in the back of the pack, who cares? Get new tires if you have them, and that could be the difference between you getting 25th place or 15th place, to be honest.
Jimmy Cocker, you can see a ton of damage for him on that left front and the rear. He currently sits 17th, 12 spots down from where he started. And we all know he was in the top 5. Not what he wants to see right now. Probably driving a little frustrated. We'll see if that is a good thing, or will it hurt him in the long run?
Yeah, you never know. Emotions definitely dictate sometimes when you're on the track. You got to keep them in check. The damage is dictating it a bit right now. We'll see if he gets more repairs throughout the race. This is one of those situations, especially with how far he's back. If he didn't obviously get the car completely repaired, he's going to have an opportunity, if there's more cautions, to bring that car down, continue to work on it through the race, and maybe get back up into that top 10 area. He's got opportunity. He just needs to keep his emotions in check from an earlier incident.
Yeah, he's got an average speedway, super speedway finish of 5th, and road courses are 4th. His total average finish is 7th. He sits 2nd in points currently, so he's solid with that. He doesn't need to worry too much about tonight, and he especially doesn't need to worry because he does have a win, so he's completely locked in. But I know Jimmy Cocker, he wants to do well out here, just put as many points between him and everyone else, even though he's locked in. So I know he's probably driving a little frustrated, especially since I don't believe that was it was a lead lap car. I think it was a lap down car that he was involved with.
Yeah, it's one of the things about racing etiquette that some of these newer or lesser known drivers could take a little bit of time to look at those types of things, because when you are lapped down, we all realize that you have a race to run, but also you do not want to be the cause to ruin somebody on the lead laps race.
It's so true. Yeah, it's a fine line. How hard are you going to race? How much are you going to push the limits around you with other people? It's a fine line to be able to do that. But Justin Anasagak, we saw him hit the wall a little bit. I'm on board with him, and he is directly behind Hunter Johnson. Now, how much is he going to wear those tires down? We're coming to lap 100. Here we are hitting it. So we still have about 89 laps to go. Still a lot of racing left, Tony, but he is on the heels of Johnson, and you can see him getting so loose. Johnson absolutely obliterating that wall as he's coming off the exit.
Yeah, and that gets really noticed in the relative, as Anasagak now under 3/10 behind, and that bumper of the Dayco 30 machine is getting a lot bigger in the windscreen of Anasagak.
Man, Justin into the wall. Both of them are hitting that wall, and I'll tell you, I've talked about it before. I'll say it again. Hunter Johnson is known to hit those walls coming off the exit. I've seen him do it time and time again at these races, so I'm not surprised, but man, oh man, that right front is going to have a ton of damage if he doesn't get control on how loose that car is, or how tight, I should say, it is coming out of here. These cars should tighten up in the long run. We have a cooler track, and he's coming up on Jordan McGraw, who's going to hang out down low as they make it to 103.
And that's exactly what I talk about when you're talking about racing etiquette, knowing to move to the position you're going to move. Let it be known. Let's not have any situation where the drivers on the lead lap are questioning what you're doing. Don't make weird moves trying to get out of their way even. Just run your race, drive your track, and they're going to figure a way to get around you. But when you start to make adjustments that are outside what you normally race is when you can see cautions be called for accidents with lead lap cars.
Yes, pretty clean race, I gotta say. These guys have done a phenomenal job tonight. It could have been a lot more chaotic than it has. I'm gonna knock on wood because, you know, the race is not over. There's still a lot more to go on. But considering the conditions out here tonight, they've done a fantastic job. And man, the racing has just been so fun to watch. A lot of trading paints, a lot of battling for position, and a few chaotic race incidents.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to make another note. Brody Falliker all the way up into 7th place. So he has not been held back by the traffic. People have spread out a bit in certain areas. We have got a car basically sideways on the straightaway. I think he got it recovered. Just saw it, but looks like we are okay. Anyway, though, Falliker, yeah, doing a great job of making his way through the pack. As he moves his way back up to the front, hopefully for his sake, he'll be challenging Anasagak and Johnson before the end of the race.
You know, Brody's at a point where he just has to worry about those tires. I mean, I've talked about it till I'm blue in the face, but it's such a true story here. We have a lot of racing left, and these drivers are now deciding, hey, you know what? I'm not expecting a lot of cautions out here, so I do have to take care of my tires. You can see Brody is being very gentle. He's starting to make a move over Brennan Book, and that is going to be for P4. So he has moved up quite a bit from that stage 2 ending incident. And as he gets super loose, I don't know if there was contact, but man, oh man, great save by Brody.
Excellent job, and that's why he was in the front in the beginning anyway. He had worked his way up to the front, and he's doing a great job with the car overall and showing that nothing's going to stop him from getting back up to the front, even a loose wheel on the track.
Loose wheel on the track, and these two just side by side, almost like Days of Thunder, as they make some contact, trying to get their way through around the track. A little bit of contact. I knew that was going to happen. Oh, man, net code. I can't even say there was contact. There was a little bit of space between the two. Brody comes back, and just like that, it goes right back down.
That is so unfortunate. You're right. It was net code. Guarantee that he was racing against Book, right? That Book did not hear from his spotter that it was not clear. There's no way. And of course, Falliker doesn't know that. He's going to be upset. It's unfortunate overall.
Man, oh man, it's just a heartbreaker right there. You see these drivers trying to work their way back through. He's got some front damage. He was able to put on the brakes pretty heavily so that it didn't absolutely destroy his car, but that is head on into the wall. So unfortunate to see that.
Yeah, that hit, although he was able to get on the brakes, I mean, all 4 tires come off the ground when he hits the wall. That's a big impact, potential radiator damage. And, of course, in close quarters, that's going to be a huge deal for them. We'll find out what he does when he gets on a pit road. We're not going to talk about the fact that he was the last person in the booth with us.
I'm telling you, that booth curse. I'm going to have to fix my overlay. It's saying it's having some issues, so we'll see what happens with it. But we'll try to get that back up. See if we can't get it back to live, because it's giving me a blank here. I guess they were upset about Brody's incident here, too. Kind of crazy.
Too true. Seeing the race off of pit road, Anasagak gets the lead. Of course, he had a much closer pit stall as Johnson comes out right behind him. And everybody taking this opportunity, but now you have a question. I extremely doubt that it's going to have any kind of a green flag run all the way through. But is it possible, people, that was their last pit stop of the race?
Ah, man, lap 113 of 188. I mean, we saw the same kind of run a little bit ago, so I guess it is definitely possible. And if they know they are going to be doing that, they really do have to take care of those tires. But, you know, you said it earlier, Tony, cautions breed cautions. So we'll see what happens here. But Tom Flitty, who is Tom Flitcroft, one of the drivers, says iRacing is broken. My pedals are broken. Brody's car is broken. So not a good night for a couple of our drivers.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I didn't see what happened with Flitcroft. I just knew that he wasn't in the race anymore, and from my experience of watching your races, that's fairly unusual. So I'm glad that he jumped on to let us know that he had some issues, because it made no sense when we didn't get a caution out. So I was curious as to what was going on there.
Brody Falliker, he is making his way into pit lane. You can see most of our drivers actually went in during this caution. Got to switch out those tires. It was around a 36 lap run, so a pretty solid night. And we had 75 laps before that. Absolutely possible to make this the final pit stop here. I want to see it happen. I want to see what they can do in this final stint. I would love to see it go green.
Oh, that would be the absolute best case scenario, to watch this go green and have people racing the cars around them, the tire wear that they have because of the decisions they have made. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the end of the race. And just like you, I hope it goes green. I hope we get to see some exciting, aggressive, but responsible driving where we lose our voices towards the end of this race from all the excitement.
Hunter Johnson in chat saying, ouch, he sits second. 21 spots from where he started. So a great run for him. And Send, you know, I'm down to give you an interview. I'm a little scared considering every time we do, something happens to that driver. So we're going to keep you out at least until the next, hopefully no caution. Find out what happens here as they get ready to go back green.
Green flag.
Green flag drops. Anna Sagak gets another nice jump. Looks like Johnson's going to go right up behind him. Allard tapping the number 7 car. That was almost a caution coming right out with Luke Allen. Now we've got 3 wide going right behind the leaders. Looks like they're going to get it figured out, though. That was actually pretty impressive driving, to be honest, because that was about to be a huge wreck.
I agree, and the 30 is around the 4 around. So unfortunate. I'm not sure what happened with it, but man, oh man.
Both drivers are okay. I don't think either. I didn't quite see the fort, but I'm pretty sure neither of them ended up hitting the wall.
Let's go back and see if we can't find out.
Something happened, though, because Johnson went right up on the side of Anasagak. Had some less than pleasing words for him as Anasagak drives away.
4 goes down, and
oh yeah, that's where Johnson lost it and snapped right back up into him. As soon as the 4 goes down, there's contact, and you see the 30. He starts to snap loose, and it just shoots him right up the track. He's actually pretty lucky that Anasagak was still there, because otherwise he was going to shoot heading into the wall like we've seen multiple times this race.
And that's where we're going to see a little bit of frustration because, you know, while Hunter Johnson, he has every right to the track and every right to go for the win, he's not in the playoffs. So it's difficult, I'm sure, for guys like Justin that are involved in it and have to drive their way back through the field. So, you know, Justin has got to be very, very frustrated. He does not have a win this season. He is first in the standings, but he is not officially punched his ticket in as far as a win goes.
I'm going to say this from a broadcasting standpoint, fantastic. We've got 2 fast drivers that are going to be running from the back and making their way up through the field while competing with each other as well. I'm excited for the end of this race now, even more so than I was before.
You know, we are absolutely excited. Now, are the drivers that are around them that have to, you know, be perhaps driven through excited? Probably not. So we'll see what happens where they come out of pit lane. Let's see. Justin Anasagak, he is currently sitting P19. We have Jimmy Cocker back there also. He was involved in an earlier incident. 21st. Here comes Hunter Johnson directly behind Jimmy Johnson and Justin Anasagak. So him and Justin, that is who was involved in that incident. Will we see any battles going on and a little bit of displeasure being shown between the two drivers?
You know, you got to look at the bigger picture here. That's how I feel. Wow, Johnson going back onto pit road, potentially having more damage on the car than I thought he had. I know he hooked and went up, but I didn't. Oh, he got an EOL penalty. No, because he was part of the caution. So,
Right.
yeah, I don't know why he's going back down pit road.
I don't know if he's involved. If that's his second one that he's involved in, they will make you do that. However, I don't remember that he's involved in a second one. But Jimmy
I didn't
Cocker,
think so.
yeah, Jimmy Cocker, he's down back into pit lane along with Jordan McGraw. Here he goes.
Cocker doing exactly what we thought he was going to do. Caution comes out. He's got a lot of damage on that car to fix from his initial incident, and he's taking that opportunity. You're in the back of the pack. You might as well take as much of an opportunity as you can to get the repairs done without losing a lap. And again, I'm telling you, top 15 car right there with the strategy he's using to get that thing repaired.
Yeah, I just hate to see it. So many fast, good drivers being involved in chaos. I mean, it's Richmond. You guys know these short tracks and, 3/4 mile tracks are crazy. You have the contact, you have the battles. It's bound to happen. But what I don't want to see is cautions breeding cautions. Let's get this thing green. Let's calm it down. We still have quite a bit of racing left to be had. We're going to have Francis Hamilton lead us back to green, and he's going to have Luke Allen to his side. Let's see what they can do here.
Waiting for
Green
that
flag.
green flag to drop. There it goes, and Hamilton taking a page out of the Anasagak book gets a huge jump on Luke Allen, and Josh Taylor falls right in line behind those two as we've got Micah Allard and Honeycutt side-by-side action coming out from a fresh green flag being dropped.
A little bit of contact. The 50 really struggling to hold on to it with the 61 making contact. These guys were side by side. John Honeycutt going to fall back a little bit, and we're going to have Connor Cunningham
Caution's
taking
out,
over
not-
that
caution's
position.
out.
And yet, here we go, another caution. Chuck Cody involved. Andrew
Yes, I
Sanford,
do,
Hunter
sir.
Johnson for Smith. Let's find out what happened here.
Chuck Cody, he's sitting at 35 laps down. That's not going to make anybody pleased that he's involved in bringing out a caution. I realize that everybody's out there to race, but he has spent so much time on pit road getting that thing repaired. To be the cause of another caution is just not a great look for that team. Jordan McGraw, he's one lap down, but I believe with being the first car lap down is going to put him back on the lead lap with this wave around.
Looks like started with perhaps Kevin Delator. And let's take a look in that 92 machine. You see him up there? Yeah, he just gets on the brakes a little bit sooner than that 37 of Andrew Sanford expects, and just pure chaos behind. Hunter Johnson involved once again. So a tough night for the back of the field here.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that drivers need to realize, young or drivers that, maybe think they have more of a right than others because they're more experienced. When you're in the back of the pack or you're behind other cars, you're driving their braking points, not your own. And that can get a lot of people in trouble when you have such a better car or you're so much more secure with the track that you're running. And you have to remember, though, somebody else in the back of the pack may not be. And you've got to keep that in mind when they go braking into a corner, even just a millisecond early. That's going to affect you negatively and potentially bring out a caution.
Absolutely. And I see out there, Tom says it's more entertaining to be watching here from here, to be honest, instead of seeing everyone from through the windshield. If you are out there in Discord and you want to come in here and we can give you an interview, come on out. Chloe says, holy cow, I know this race is getting crazy. And I think we're in the cautions, breeding cautions part of the race, and it's usually always the end. We still have over, I would say, 55 laps. I'm terrible at math, but somewhere around there.
No, you're right. 55. Good job.
Makes sense.
Well done. Well done. Um, I will say, all the cars that are taking pit, I see Anisagat going back on pit road as well. Those fresh tires, he does not need to change them again. He's good to go for the rest of the race for sure. They've already run 60 laps plus on a set of tires, and they weren't losing a lot of lap time doing that. So I feel pretty confident that with what he's doing right now, just cleaning up the car the rest of the way, he's going to get back to the back of the pack, and he's going to have a great shot at driving right back up to the front, as long as he can avoid the next set of cautions that are bound to happen.
Yeah, we have about 8 drivers on pit lane, all the way from Forrest Smith in 15th down to Andrew Sanford in 22nd. So a lot of takers trying to fix the damage, trying to get the fuel, the tires, you name it. We'll see how they come out, but here comes Justin Anisagat. He is making his way back out on the track. Man, we see him start off so strong in these races and just absolute chaos in the end. You see Jarrett Cardwell directly in front of him. A ton of damage after that last incident. Really hate to see it out here for him.
Yeah, you do. It always happens to the best, nicest drivers out there. You seem to just get involved in bad situations, and of course Johnson and Anisagat getting into it as the lead was happening, and now they're struggling in the back quickly. We'll have to see. Still a lot of race to go, what some of these drivers can do. And again, other drivers just jumping out of pit road to get as much damage fixed without losing a lap during these cautions.
Yeah, it's going to be the best strategy. Try to keep that lead lap if you can. I mean, sometimes it's just not possible, but these guys are lined up, ready to go back racing once again. The lights are out on the pace car. The 48 takes the high side, Luke Allen to his inside, and the 48 will be leading us off.
Green flag.
Waiting for that green flag. There it is. And Hamilton getting a nice jump again, as he is going to be able to clear the 7 car of Luke Allen. Ooh, getting tight there. We've got a nice line. And it looks like, yeah, he'll get the clearing completely done. And Allard being pretty aggressive, diving into 3, jumping on the inside of Josh Taylor, looking to get that spot. He ran mid to back of the pack most of the race, but in these later stages, he has been able to move right up, as now he is challenging Allen for 2nd place.
Yeah, a lot of happenings going on. Micah almost wrecking as Luke Allen's trying to take that spot. They go side by side. And meanwhile, we have Matthew Opliger. This is for P8.
Oh.
We have Joe Berg around. That is going to bring out yet another caution.
quickly tell me what you
He's
think you
the
had there.
only car involved on the start of that, but Matthew getting super loose, trying to get that car down on that restart.
Yeah, I don't know if Berg was just in. I don't think he was in the pits. He was up a lot farther in line, so I'm not sure what caused that. I would have thought maybe slick tires. I didn't see there was any contact. I saw him slide out, and it just kind of looked like he lost it there.
Yeah, it looks like just looking back at it, he was just losing it coming out of the exit. No one in front of him, no one behind him that could make contact. Just getting too loose.
Well, good for him to be able to slide in the grass, keep that car clean. He'll be able to get back out, try to work his way up. Best case scenario for getting into a wreck is to obviously not hit anybody or anything. And hopefully I don't know if he's going to go on a pit. I would go on a pit road to get fresh tires if I still have them, knowing that this is absolutely the last set I have to get if I haven't gotten any yet since the last caution, not the last caution, but the stage end of stage 2.
Micah goes in and he's on 21 lap old tires. He's going to take some possibly tires and fuel this time as he is in pit lane. We'll see if anyone decides to take him up on his offer of going in. Anyone follows. We have Justin, Jimmy Cocker, Forrest Smith, Jordan McGraw, Micah, Jarrett Cardwell, Joe Berg, Hunter Johnson, Kevin Dallator, and Andrew Sanford, 12th all the way down to 22nd.
And we see Cocker on pit road again. It looks like he's definitely getting tires right now. That car looks nearly clean on the front end at this point, and he had a huge hit So you got to ask yourself the question, is he clean enough on this short track to make some moves and to be seen? As I've been saying, top 15. I truly believe top 15 is where he can get to, but I didn't think he was going to get that car to look that clean. He's sitting there for a little extra time to continue to get repairs, potentially even a better finish. He had a fast car before his incident earlier on.
Yeah, he was in the top 5 at least. I think P3 when that happened. He's sitting 16th currently. And Tom says, good move to pit here, I think. That's going to involve Micah, who did pit. He sits P12th as we go back to green shortly. Meanwhile, we are going to have Francis Hamilton lead us back to green with Luke Allen to his side. Josh Taylor, we haven't talked a lot about him, but here he is up 13 spots from where he started, sitting P3. Connor Cunningham, he's going to be up 18 spots from where he started. He sits P4. And to round out the top 5 is going to be John Honeycutt. He's up 4 spots from where he started.
Honeycutt has maintained in this general area most of the race. It's good to see him getting up into that top 5, but he's not a shock to me is what I'm saying. He definitely has been in this area for most of the race, and it's good for him. It's really good for him because there's been a couple crashes in front of him, and he's kept the nose of that Chevy clean.
Yeah, that's
now,
the biggest
what
thing.
I'm curious about is, I'm sorry, all the strategy goes through my mind. Josh Taylor, he's also been up at times, but I want to say he is up here right now potentially for staying out through multiple cautions.
Yeah, I think a couple of drivers might be in the same boat. We'll see, but that 2 and 3 directly side by side, almost a very similar paint scheme you see right here. But Francis is going to be leading us off shortly. Chloe says this is crazy, and you're not wrong. This is indeed crazy. Coming back to 137 of 188. Can we let it go green for the remainder of the race? Cautions breed cautions. Hopefully that's the end of that.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that we are at the end of that now. It's about a good time to have a final run. But you're right. It's so hard because now we are getting the end of the race, and some of those drivers that are in the back that have been up in the front, they're going to make some more aggressive moves. And
Green flag.
well, we'll see as we go green right now. And Hamilton again gets a nice jump out, but Luke Allen also getting a nice jump. He's going side-by-side action with Connor Cunningham, and we'll have to see how that turns out as they both have kind of caught up to Francis Hamilton.
At 3, really pushing on that outside. He almost is able to get on the side of 48 as he does, and he's going to take over the lead, 138 of 188. That's going to be Connor Cunningham, our new leader, but then the 48 is going to answer back as they are 2 wide up until the top 4 spots, and then Matthew Opliger in 5th, John Honeycutt in 6th.
We have got 3 rows of side-by-side action going, and it's the 3 front rows of side-by-side action going. It is great driving on the inside and the outside, and I'm going to say that has got to be because Knight has fallen and the track is grippier, because you did not see the outside lane getting position earlier in the race.
A lot of contact here, and this is going to be for around P9. You see the 61 got up in the 23, and somehow he held on to it. That's going to be Jose Ruiz in the middle of a 3-wide sandwich with Matthew Gale on the outside. Jimmy Cocker is going to give him a little nudge. That is going to be the 11 machine as he's trying to get back up into the top 10. He sits P12.
Jimmy Cocker, we talked about him a number of times, going on pit road, getting the repairs done. He's happy about all those cautions because after he brought out one of them, he's been able to keep it clean, get that car repaired, and he is here, and he is trying to compete for a very strong finish after we thought his day was potentially completely over.
Yeah, you know, there's some people that, you know, they may give up on a race, just say it's not worth it. I wasn't going to go anywhere. A lot of these guys, though, in this league, they're just saying, you know, I'm going to try to go for everything that I can, and Jimmy Cocker is going to be one of them. We're on board with Brendan Book, and he is side-by-side currently. You can see him right there. That was going to be Matthew Gale. He since makes the move, but is once again side-by-side with that 67 Cookie Monster machine.
Brendan Book has got to keep the aggression up as well. He has been one of those drivers that was up in the lead, or the lead area, top 5 for sure. And now he's back in the pack a little bit, fighting with some of these other drivers and he is going to turn the 93 of Joseph Berg. You saw it happen right as it was going on. Unfortunate for the 93. It looked like the 5 just kind of turned down, hooked him, and there it was. Ooh, in contact with who? Who was that he hit? I didn't see that part.
Let's go back and take a look, but I'll tell you what, that is a hard hit for him. Joe Berg.
Oh, it was Anisagak.
Oh, man.
Oh, that sucks.
Justin Anisagak definitely affected heading into that inside wall. That might be the end of Justin tonight and Joe Berg.
Such a hard hit for both of those drivers. That was you know what, for Anisagak, we talk about it all the time. Front of the racetrack, the leaders, they are in such a better position most of the time. And when you're in the back like that, it doesn't matter how fast your car is, how good you are. You've got to. He was doing nothing, and he just wrong place, wrong time, and it's going to end his day.
Yeah, you know, it's tough being in the back of the field at these short tracks. Just you're in the hornet's nest, and that's where Justin found himself, just nowhere to go. And man, he was just along for the ride. Nothing he could do, but so many takers for pit lane. The top 21 people headed to pit lane. Micah's going to stay out. Jimmy Cocker, who repaired his damage, stays out. Mike Papa Bear Campbell up 21 spots, sitting P3rd. Francis Hamilton moves down to 4th. Luke Allen 5th. Josh Taylor, he's going to be P6. Brody Falliker making his way back up through the field, 7th. Philip Bridgman 8th. John Honeycutt 9th. And Matthew Opliger, he's going to run out your top 10.
When we talk about Micah Allard, of course, we know he was middle back of the pack for much of the race. He's driven his way all the way up to the lead. A little bit of strategy there, though, as he went in. I know that Flintcroft in the chat had mentioned he agreed with that, him going in under the last caution, and this is exactly why. He has no need. He does not need to go in again. Tire fall off, we know from the long run, was not great enough to make a difference with about, 42 laps left. He can make it. He's going to have well under 60 laps on those tires, and here he is sitting out in the lead. Maybe he could get a nice lead, save a little bit on tires, and with more cautions, just stay out there all night taking home a victory.
Yeah, 14 lap old tires. If he did take tires on the last pit stop here, so he's doing good. He should be able to make a fantastic run to the end here if we do stay green, but the way this is going, I mean, just a little bit of contact and it is sending these drivers straight to the wall. So if we can avoid that, I know we could get a green flag run to the end, but man, terrible happenings here for some of these drivers as they're in pit lane trying to fix that damage. You see Hunter Johnson, Jordan McGraw, Jarrett Cardwell, Justin Anisagak, and Joe Berg all trying to get that damage repaired.
Yeah, that's just, Anisagak, we root for him in the race. Points leader, you hope that he can have a great finish. He's up in front a lot, but as soon as the crash happened with Johnson, he's just been involved in way too much, and it's never been his fault since. And that's just unfortunate overall. Not going to have the finish he wanted for this race, and it doesn't look like, he's now 2 laps down. It looks like his day, he might come out, get those laps smart. That's how you get as many points as possible. You don't know who else is going to fall out by the end of this race, but otherwise, he's just out there trying to log some laps and do the best he can to finish this race.
Still quite a few laps left. Our 9th caution of the night. AK Big Boy says, come on, number 4. He's got a long road ahead.
He is on pit road.
Green flag.
Green flag flies, and it looks like the number 11 of Jimmy Cocker does not get it going as Micah Allard takes a huge lead out. The number 7 of Luke Allen jumps the inside. We've got a car sideways, and it gets help to finish. Expect to see that caution fly right away.
Look here, it's up for me right there.
Just absolute chaos. I saw that as it's coming around. The 71 just trying to hold on to it. Nothing he could do to try to save it, and just everyone trying to make their way around. But, you know, it's Richmond, not a lot of places to go here. So unfortunately, a few more drivers involved. And I do believe I saw Brody Falliger as one of the drivers here.
Yeah, I was watching. I could just see it on my screen as the 71. I think he initiated on his own, but then he was finished off as he was trying to get it back together a little bit. Just unable to do so. Doesn't look like there's a lot of damage on that car, though. He'll be able to keep going.
Jose, John Honeycutt, quite a bit of drivers affected in this one once again. And Tom says earlier, this is great. I'm sure he's glad that he's not involved in the shenanigans out here currently.
Spectating is always more fun than getting into crashes over and over again.
Oh, yeah. That's going to bring out the 10th caution, lap 151 of 188. Can we get there, guys? Fingers crossed. Man, oh man, tough race. We knew it was going to be several cautions, but it's tough out here. Richmond, we knew that I think our season 2 had 5 cautions, and season 1 and 3 had double digits in cautions. Tough track out here.
Yeah, it really is a tough track, and all short track racing, you know, it presents its own challenge. Even you go from your previous race where most likely on average you're running at a speedway course. I know last week you were running at Watkins Glen, a road course, just completely different style of racing, and now you take it to a short track. And it's not, I mean, remember, we had a long green flag run, but now you're getting the end. Drivers in general have been doing this now for a couple hours. They're getting exhausted in the car, and that maybe decision making not as good as it has been previously. That last caution, I mean, it wasn't actually Hunter Johnson's fault. He got hard on the brakes. It was the car behind him that hit him and finished off the 71. So again, are people as focused as they should be for this race? I don't know, but that's kind of the fun of the race as well.
You said it right there. Just so many different things happening. And Race Affinity, I see you out there. Thank you so much for the raid. A party of 20. You guys are awesome. Helltrack, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. It's Richmond. It's crazy. It's getting towards the end of the race. And a lot of shenanigans happen. We're hoping to see a green flag run to the end of this race. We have Micah in the lead. And he says to me, Frozen, do not give me an interview if I'm in the lead. The booth curse is real, and I don't want any part of it. So we're going to hold true to that.
So we have Micah in the booth with us. Quick question for you, Mike. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. Here we go. These guys are going to start lining up side by side, getting ready to go back to green with Micah leading the way. Race Affinity, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. And the raid. You guys are awesome. You just finished your league race at Richmond. How did it go? Hopefully it went well for you. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Exactly.
Nice.
As Tony said, lights are off on the pace car. Micah leading the way. Jimmy Cocker, he's going to be side by side. Luke Allen in row 2 along with Francis Hamilton. See if this can't go green.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see if Cocker's going to get a better start this time. If you recall, in the last restart, he did not get it going, and it did bunch up a lot of drivers. So if he can get a clean start, we'll be watching the rows behind him to see how they do. And hopefully, again, let's get that green flag racing going. Cocker does not get a good start. He gets shoved hard by Francis Hamilton. He's dropping down to the inside. And actually, Allard didn't have a great start either, but with Cocker messing up, it gave a big gap, and now he's got a decent lead over second place, Francis Hamilton.
Take a look at this chaos. I mean, back here we have Matthew Gale, Connor Cunningham, and we do have 3 wide. It's going to be Jimmy Cocker in the middle with the 20 on the bottom, the 5 on the high side. They're going to thin it down to 2 wide, but man, oh man. These guys are not calming down. The action is going to increase along with the aggressiveness. Take a look. Micah, he's going to be leading the field with a little bit of a gap, almost a second.
And then right behind him, you've got 20 cars that are just battling it out. The 3 car goes wide, almost loses the back end. While Cocker tries to recover from a poor restart. He's dropped back 6-7 spots. And we've got banging on the doors between the number 7 and 2 as they battle it out for 3rd and 4th place, trying to get that podium finish. We've still got a number of laps to go in this race, though.
Take a look at Jimmy Cocker down 3 spots from where he started. I mean, just an up and downhill battle for him. Just trying to make his way through the field, got all the way up to, I do believe it was P2 or 3, got involved in an incident and has tried to work his way back up through the field. So I'll tell you, a heck of a driver. He sits P8 currently. Let's see if we can get him in the top 5.
And we talk about Cocker. I mean, we talked about him. I said 15th when he was sitting at the end with heavy damage on the car. I was just like, yeah, this guy, he has an opportunity with cautions to get it repaired and get a top 15. And he has surpassed those expectations. And now we're talking maybe a top 5. That's an excellent drive for a driver who's been involved in a serious accident that very well could have had him out of the race. Now you've got Johnson trying to get to his inside and take a position, but he's going to be caught up with Cunningham, preventing him from getting that spot from Cocker.
Yeah, being on the outside is just definitely not helping Jimmy Cocker, and that 3 really sent it in on him, so he lost that position. And Hunter Johnson, he's going to be aggressive, trying to get everything he can, as he was involved in an earlier incident with Justin. So these guys just going for everything they can, and that's when mistakes happen. But take a look at this. Micah still in the lead, the 48 closing in on him, closing that gap. Will he be able to take that lead from Micah? We're going to soon find out.
Yeah, as we watch that relative, it's down to about 3/10 and actually top 4 spots, all within a second of each other. That's excellent for us up here in the booth, but it's got to be real stressful for them as they know even the slightest slip up, which happens constantly on this track, can cost them a position or potentially even the race.
Micah still leading, but they are definitely closing that gap. You see Luke Allen in that 7 machine down on the inside trying to close that, but here we go on the backstretch here. Single file line for the most part. We'll see if we can bring it home green. 164 coming up here, 25 to go. Let me know, Chad, who do you think's gonna win?
Watching Luke Allen, and I think he's probably the most impatient out of the top 4. He wants that second spot, and that is great for Micah Allard as he dives his nose again on the inside of Francis Hamilton, and he's looking to grab that spot. That side-by-side racing is just going to give the opportunity to Micah Allard to maybe put a bigger gap between those drivers.
Unfortunately, this is where things can get a little sketchy because you have that 7 right on the corner panel of that 48 machine when they were entering around the corner. And that's when we've seen these drivers net coding each other, sending them into the wall, and then the chaos ensues. Luckily, the 7 and the 48 did not happen. We didn't see that happen with them. We are still moving. But I'm a little nervous. 23 to go, a long single file line. This train is busy.
Yeah, they've done a really nice job on this last restart of keeping this going. But you're right. Seems like itchy feet on the pedals as the number 2 of Josh Taylor starts to look at the inside of Francis Hamilton. And really, it's not about him getting on the inside. It's just if Hamilton is going to squeeze him down, because we've seen that multiple times in this race where they squeeze down a little too much, and coming off an exit, someone gets a little loose, hits the wall, and then we have chaos everywhere on the track.
So true. We're going to see that. Man, take a look. I'm just, here we go. I knew it was going to happen.
Yep, there it was. We talked about it just a moment ago. Caution does not come out. But Hamilton going to drop way back after sliding up the track and taking that wall.
I'll tell you what, I talk about giving away chocolate chip cookies for incredible moves, and Jimmy Cocker, I don't know if you caught that on the back of your screen, but he just narrowly avoided that car, had to swerve it down low to miss it, and then gathered it back up, still moving. But I'll tell you what, I guarantee he had some white knuckles as he held on to that.
Yeah, these cars are already running at the edge every single time they go around a corner, and they have to make massive adjustments like that. And to keep the car going and not lose position is extremely impressive. Hell, Trek, you made me laugh. I saw someone say cookies. I saw it mid-words. I'm like, haha.
Yeah, speaking of cookies, we got that 67 Matthew Gale rounding out the top 10 in that cookie monster machine. Just doing a great job. You take a look, he's got Brody Thalacker directly behind, another driver who has had such a difficult race. Ran so well, and you can see the damage on his rear end there. Still moving though. And we have Francis Hamilton, who Jimmy Cocker barely missed. He got tagged and somehow held on to it, hit the wall a little bit. They remained green. He fell back to P12.
Yeah, they're bumping and banging back there as we jump up to the top 3 real quick. And taking a look at your leader, it is front to back to front to back to front in the top 3 spots. We've got less than 3/10 separating all 3 of those cars in total. And as we are saying that, Opplinger and Book are both moving up and starting to look at challenging for those top 3 spots as well.
Yeah, we can see some of these positions just being taken. And Micah, he does have a win at Charlotte earlier in the season. Our longest race of the season with 15 to go. We know Micah, he's got the tires, he's got the speed. He can get this done. But Luke, he has no win this season. In fact, I believe that if he did get this win, it would be his first for SnB. Now you know this man wants that win.
Absolutely. And what I have noticed when he took the position earlier, he was driving it real deep into the turn before coming off the gas and touching those brakes. And that's how he got it. Does he have the tires now, or has he worn them out to get up to second place? We'll have to find out in just a few laps as we are getting close to having under 10 to go.
Yeah, Micah, he's got older tires in the remainder of the field here. 31 for the top 6, and then Johnson is going to have 25, and you know he's going to try to make his way. We'll see what he can do, but Justin, you can see he's going to be behind Johnson right there. I don't even think Justin is on the lead lap. He has gone down at least a lap as he sits P21.
Yeah, Anasakaka is actually 15 laps down at this point. His race day has been over since the last incident where a car literally landed on the right side of his roof, bouncing it off the wall. We knew that was going to be the end for him, and that is unfortunate. Great news for Allard as he has gone out to a 4/10 second lead as we've got Allen and Taylor and 3 wide as the number 20 of Opplinger shows up into the race. But are we going to see a caution, or are they going to be able to battle it out cleanly as they come out of turn number 2 side by side and wiggling those cars all over the place?
You know, while Micah does want to see these guys battle, he does not want or need a caution. He needs these guys to just battle out, maybe 2 wide. He doesn't want to jeopardize his lead. If we round these guys back out and put them all back together, you know Micah is going to be very distraught over this. And that 20 making some contact with the 2 car. Things are getting real dicey out here with 9 to go.
Yeah, a late race caution would be horrible for Allard, not just because he's got almost a full second lead while the rest of these cars are battling it out, but I believe if we stack him back up, he goes from being a car that was doing just fine, being in the lead, to a car that's got some of the oldest tires on the track, and that could be detrimental to his chance at taking home a victory.
Matthew really pushing the envelope here with that car beside him. That's going to be Josh Taylor. And Repeat says, Luke Allen is putting on a strong run tonight, having a great season so far, and it's getting better. And Repeat, you said it right there. Man, but I'll tell you what, this battle between the 20 and the 2 car really making me nervous. These guys going for everything they can. Micah, he's loving it. He's out to over a second lead with Matthew trying to take that over. So yet another battle with Matthew trying to take it over, and he's going to get hooked.
Contact, and...
Can he save it?
Oh, no.
That's going to be it right there. Josh Taylor out 20.
Josh Taylor,
that's going to bring out the caution.
Inside wall.
Oh, man. Ooh.
That was unfortunate. Yeah, you saw it. It looked like maybe the 20 was going to catch it, but he gets finished off as he gets just tapped on that back end, sends him under that inside wall.
This is where it is, you know, you just make that contact and it just pulls your car and you're going to go to that outside wall. And then once that second contact hits, he is lucky enough to keep it off the inside, almost backs it out into Jarrett Cardwell. Jarrett just narrowly avoids it, but we go under caution once again.
Yeah, Taylor not so lucky as he hit that inside wall hard, pops the hood up on the car. We're going to see him hit pit road. This is interesting to see. Johnson and others going down pit road only could be for tires. You know they don't need fuel, so they're trying to get tires at the end of the race, but there's going to be such a few amount of laps left. It's a very interesting strategy to go by as Allard's going to keep the car out there. I think that's the right move. You just kind of came with the person you brought to the day. I don't know the analogy, but anyway, he's stuck. You know, he's got to stick out there. I think it's the right move anyway. Johnson going into the pits. He's going to come out pretty far back. Cocker goes out. Yeah, the number 7 is coming out. Luke Allen. They're all going to lose position. I just don't know if tires are going to make such a big difference with probably 2 to go when the green flag comes out.
I don't know. We're going to find out. Restarts seem to be pretty difficult for those that stay out on the old tires. I know Mike has taken a huge chance here. I hope it works out. I know you say that you think it's a good call. I'm a little nervous for him. I'm going to be honest. He's got pretty old tires. They were the oldest out when 52 lap old tires. Drivers behind him had 40. I think it's going to be a very close call. Luckily, he's got some drivers blocking between him and drivers with new tires.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize that like Johnson and them were going to come out in the top 10. I thought they'd be back in, 15th, 20th place going on that pit. So that's maybe a bad call on my part because I did not realize they were going to come out so close. You only need a couple of laps when you got drivers on extremely old tires if they can get around them.
Right. Yeah, Pete says, I don't think enough stayed out to help Micah win this. I mean, he's really going to have to defend it, and we've seen how defending your position ends tonight. He does have a teammate that's going to be Brennan Book for C Motorsports directly next to him as we start going back to green with 3 to go. I'm a little nervous for Micah. Is he going to be able to capture another win? This would be a second of the season. I'm not so sure.
Well, who do we have in line right now? Philip Bridgman. He doesn't have a win this season, does he? Would that put him in the playoffs? That could be something as he sits in 3rd place currently.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he would be in playoffs. I'm not sure that he raced enough to be in playoffs. I'd have to check that. Okay. So very interesting to see him if he can get out a top 3 or 5 finish here. That's a great race for him for sure.
Yeah, surviving all the chaos can put you into a good spot to have, good finishes in the races. Nice thing for Micah is that the inside driver, Brennan Book, is also on older tires, so that part is okay.
Yeah, he does have a few blocking him with older tires, but I'm nervous for him, not gonna lie. Matthew Opliger out here, you see that he has been pretty aggressive. Hunter Johnson, absolutely aggressive out here. We have Jimmy Cocker. He's out here P7, so I know he's going to want to try to make his moves up here. This is crazy. I'm just on the edge of my seat. I am so nervous, excited. A little more nervous than excited, though.
Yeah, looking like we're going to get an overtime race here. Green-white checkered, according to the news on the little board. And what a start for Allard again as he gets a nice jump out to front, but we'll have to see what Johnson does as he is your first car, and the caution comes out. I was going to say he's the first car with new tires, but it doesn't matter.
Almost into it, and he just sends it in there, making contact with Jarrett Cardwell, and off he goes. Only car involved, that is enough to bring out a caution. And oh man, Richmond just absolutely crazy out here. Almost made it to the line. Almost.
Almost, and that would have been amazing for Allard as he wouldn't have had to bring it around one more time. But now, well, again, he is stuck out on the track. If he pits, I mean, I guess he can. He's got the win. He's in the playoffs if he chooses to, I guess. But if you want that win, you just got to stay out.
Yeah, you have to stay out this point. I don't think anyone is going to go in behind him. If he was going to go in, I think it would have been the last time, not this time.
Right.
So
Yeah,
he's taken his ticket, and we'll see what happens with it. All right, chat.
Just like the last race we had,
Yeah.
we are in overtime, and it's crazy with a late race caution.
We'll see if we can't get it done. We were so close, Tony. But you guys in chat,
Yes.
let me know, who do you think is going to win it tonight? Will Micah be able to hold off his teammate and all the other drivers to bring home a second win of the night? Will Brendan be able to capture the win and get his second win of the season? Or is it going to be Mr. Cookie Monster out there? You see Matthew Gale coming up to the top 3.
Right now, my money is on Johnson. Fresh tires. He's going to be lining up in the second row. Hard not to bet on him. He's got the best chance. I am rooting for Allard just because we were talking to him earlier during practice, and of course, that's why. That's probably the only reason. It's exciting for him. He worked his butt off to get up to the front, and so I do hope that he's able to bring it home. It'd be the unlikeliest things to happen, so it'd be kind of cool if he's able to pull it off.
Matthew Gale, if he got a win tonight, man, I would love to see it. That would be his first win in SnB ever. So yeah, I'm hoping he does. He's my underdog here. Jimmy Cocker, you see in the 11, the 30, Hunter Johnson, he's going to be aggressive. You know he's going to try to go for that win. He already said it. He's trying to go for a repeat of season 1. Question is, can he get it done?
Well, we're going to find out on that restart. We get our second green-white checkered coming up pretty soon here. And everybody, fresh tires, not fresh tires, it doesn't matter. You all white-knuckling it in a matter of moments. This thing's about to get crazy again. Hopefully they can make it through one lap at least. We can crown a champion for this race.
Yeah, we'll see who's going to win it. It's been a wild race. Lots of different things going on. Absolutely insane. They're going to line up double file, and I guarantee we're probably going to have Micah take that outside. That seems to be the preferred lane at the restarts here. No, he's going to go ahead and take the bottom line. His teammate on the outside. We got Mr. Cookie Monster, Matthew Gale directly behind Micah. Philip Bridgman in that 9 machine. He is out in P5.
Yeah, and again, I'll bring it up. I brought it up multiple times in the race. You've got the professional driver sitting in the second row on the outside, as you just said, the preferred line. If he's able to get around Book, I just think he's going to drive away with this one. And you got Cocker there. He's got fairly fresh tires as well in comparison to the front 2 drivers. This is about to get exciting as the pace car will be turning off in just a moment. There it goes. Hold your breath, folks.
I was literally about to say I'm holding my breath. 67 gets loose, almost loses it on the start here.
Caution comes right out.
Sounds like
Bad
a little far away from your
restart,
mouth.
spun
Just
out.
double-check that for us, please.
Multiple cars involved, and we're gonna try this one last time. As we do
Huge
white checkers in
tire
this
spin
race.
for that 11 machine. Just nowhere, nothing you could do, and unfortunately, just a really tough night for Jimmy Cocker here.
Yeah, we saw it when he was up front too. Every time he restarted up front, he had a problem getting it going. And I'm curious as to what was going on there. Is he starting maybe a gear too low? Or
Yeah, I don't know if it's just
I don't know what
massive
could cause
tire
that.
spin
Nobody else-
or wrong
nobody else
gear.
seemed to- maybe a little thunderfoot. All I know is that I didn't see anybody else have quite the issues getting it going on the restarts as he has today.
Frustration for the 11 machine and for several others, but take a look where that puts Hunter Johnson. Not what Micah wants to see. You know he's telling his teammate, Brendan, you got a block for me. I can just see it now. The team communication saying, just hold him off for me. All I need is you to just hold him off as long as you can. And I can guarantee Brendan's going to say, I'll try, but I'm not going to, die for it.
Right, absolutely. Well, as you said earlier, longest race of the year, Micah Allard won that one. He's in. Brennan Book, Auto Club has a victory. He's in. On a disappointed Jimmy Cocker can go back to remember he has the victory at Dover. He's in the playoffs. So those three drivers right off the top of my list, they can all say, yeah, I want the victory. Cocker, of course, obviously out now, but they wanted the victory or they want the victory. But at the end of the day, they are in the playoffs. So this is just icing on the cake for them.
Jimmy Cocker is going to come out 16th after that. Francis Hamilton, 18th. We saw him leading earlier on, having a great run. Matthew Opliger, he is out there in 13th. John Honeycutt, 12th. Forrest Smith, 10th. Micah, though, still leading the race. I mean, has a great run, but as Repeat says, the top two in points are definitely struggling out here. Justin Anasagak, he's sitting P21, and Jimmy Cocker is second in points, and yeah, tough day for him as he sits 16th.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I just noticed is we have done 199 laps. Now, I realize a number of these laps are under caution, but Allard's tires have got to be pretty smoked at this point. And again, as you mentioned, Johnson being right on that second row, a lot to be concerned about as they're going to take that green-white checkered for the final time. Whatever happens next, the next flag will crown the champion of this race.
65 lap old tires. Brennan Book with 53 lap old tires. Matthew Gale and Bridgman, both 53 lap old tires. So Johnson, I mean, the freshest tires out there, comparatively speaking. We'll see what he can do, but Micah's going to be under attack very quickly, and I'm not sure there's going to be anything for Brennan to be able to do because he's going to be directly... Micah is going to be right in front of Hunter unless he takes that high side.
It looks like he might be taking that high side right now.
Very interesting.
As they start to go double side. Yeah, that is interesting. Very interesting.
So he's going to have to depend on his teammate to slow up Hunter Johnson. And with Hunter, he's aggressive. He knows what he's doing, but it very well could cause another caution. I don't even know what caution we're on as far as are we on the third one yet, but it's going to be interesting to see how it turns.
Final one.
Okay, so this is it then.
Yep. And you're right. And then we talked about this earlier in the race. It doesn't matter if you're professional because you're driving around a lot of sim drivers that maybe don't know the same things you do or don't have the same courtesies you may have. Therefore, it's a wild card for him when he makes whatever move he decides to make. Green flag drops, though. And it looks like Johnson doesn't get a great start as Allard does get a great start. And Book files right in behind him.
I can tell you Johnson was all over the heels of that 5 machine and just nudging him, telling him, let's go, as he was holding back a little bit. He's going to take over that spot. Brendan spins him.
There's your race, folks. There's your race.
Man.
I don't know. We'll have to look at the replay. I don't know if he... Well, we can kind of see. I can see it on... Yeah, you know, it's really hard to tell. Did he drive up? I don't think that Book drove down on him.
Oh, man, this is tough. This is tough. Yeah, from my angle, it looks like he did. He just drove down a little bit too far, and Hunter Johnson involved, the 50, the 42, just absolute mayhem on this final run here.
Yeah, and you had Falliker make his way back up after getting in an early race wreck or probably mid-race wreck and get himself back up into a decent spot, and he's involved on it. Obviously, Johnson not going to be happy with that result. Allard will be, though.
Tell you what, though, yeah. We have a couple of new drivers that are going to be in the booth here tonight. We got Matthew Gale, who will be making an appearance in the booth after this race, along with Connor Cunningham. So let's get them up here. Not exactly the way we pictured it happening, but Micah gonna get his second win of the season. So there is that. Oh man, Micah. Another win for you this season. This race was absolutely insane. How'd it go for you?
I don't know. That was hectic.
That was
That was
hectic.
really, there was a lot going on there. I don't know. I mean, we didn't get the qual lap that we wanted, and I tried to get through the field there early, and there was, I don't know, I kind of worked my way up, and Tom's been having trouble with his pedals registering full throttle, and so they're like, I ran in the back of him. I pitted to make sure I didn't have any damage. But I didn't have any damage, and I was just trying to slowly make my way through the field. And we had those cautions that were back to back to back, and maybe back to back to back to back to back. I don't know, but there was quite a
Few
few
of 'em.
there. So I was like, I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna take tires, and we had a little run there, and then everybody else pitted, so I inherited the lead, right? And I put some front brake bias in it and kept driving it, and I noticed that I was pulling away from the second place guy. And then I was like, man, I might have this. And then of course Brendan goes, oh, they're wrecking, right? So I was like, no, that's not what I wanted to see. But we were at a point where, I didn't really want to pit for new tires. I was just gonna see what we had, right? And then, we kept getting the cautions because it's hard to get around here when everybody's on the same set of tires. I mean, let alone when there's people that are, have multiple strategies, right? And like, there's no wrong decision, but it was just the way it worked out. And I hate that Hunter got wrecked there at the end. It sounded like there was a bit of net code. But ultimately, we crossed the line first, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
Not obviously, I wanted to race hard and get the win, under green, but I'll
win
take
is
the
a
win
win.
under caution. Yeah, that's right. I'll take it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. Being able to pull out a victory after 3 cautions when you had by far the oldest tires on the track, and we kept talking about restarts are hard. So the fact that you were able to do that is very impressive because you had a driver behind you that had some of the newest tires on their car, and I don't honestly, I think you could have pulled it. You had gotten out to a big enough lead on that last restart that I think you may have been able to hold him off for the victory under green flag. You had a pretty big gap on him.
Yeah, I did. I won't tell you exactly what I did, but it's all legal, just for the record.
Well, we'll find out
it,
after the race
it's
in inspection, sir.
NASCAR hauler.
I did something that I don't normally do, and it seemed to really help. So it was, and I had Brendan there, who's my teammate. And we're able to work out restart strategies, and that's why you saw me take the bottom, and then you saw me take the top and bottom top, however it worked out. But I was well aware. Hunter's a good driver. He was on new tires. I knew he was going to be a force to be reckoned with. So I'm I hate that he got wrecked. I hate that what happened, but ultimately the restart strategy was all because I had a teammate up there, and so I could kind of talk to him and tell him, hey, I'm going here, or hey, I'm going here, or hey, I'm going to take this line, and he's given me feedback as well. So it helped that I had a teammate up there, but again, I hate it for Hunter because I know he's a good driver. Even if we were on the same tires, he probably would have been up here racing with me. But I knew he was definitely the fastest guy with the tires. So.
Well, you got the second win of the season, so a huge congratulations to you, and well deserved. I mean, you had a fantastic car, and you brought it home in the end. Clean too. A lot of drivers just struggled out there tonight that are high in the point standing, so this is definitely going to help you out there. Again, congratulations, Micah. Well deserved.
Yeah, thank you guys. NitroSetups.com or NitroRacing.com. Sorry, go get your guys' setups, and appreciate everything you guys do, and glad I could come back and get a win after my little vacation.
There you have it. All right.
Sir.
Tony, we have Matthew Gale up 11 spots from where he started, and he's in that Cookie Monster machine, and I do believe this is his best finish. Go ahead and give him an interview.
Excellent job, Matthew. I love the car, and I was really happy to see that you worked your way up through the pack. You did very well. I noticed you in practice. You had a fast car, and it looks like it translated out to the race. How did that go for you overall in this fairly long short track race?
I'm probably as surprised as anyone. I did not feel like I had speed, and my tire wear was not good. I was just trying to get as many points because Darlington's not a good track for me either. And then we got that late caution. I thought if I go the same strategy and take tires, I'm not going to gain anything. So took the risk, and I guess it worked.
You did excellent job. It was an amazing drive by you in that 67 Cookie Monster car. You definitely caught the eyes of some of the people in chat as well as they were hollering out Cookie. So you've got some fans out there, and you did an excellent job. I know you said Darlington isn't a great track for you, so you stuck out for points. It's a smart move anyway, but I hope you are able to have your best race in Darlington as well as we get closer to the playoffs. That'll be our last race before the playoffs.
I hope so. I'm like right around the cut line, so I needed everything I got from this one. So
Yeah, it'll
That's
definitely
gonna make
help
for an
out.
exciting race next week.
I'm so excited for you, Matthew. Go celebrate that second. That's freaking awesome. Hope we can do it
Yeah.
again at Darlington. Go get it. All right, for third, we have Connor Cunningham in that 3 machine. And Connor, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is your best finish of the season also. Up 19 spots from where you started. Take us through your race.
Well, for qualifying, I messed that up, so I ran a 24-1 something. I don't know.
Oh,
So I
jeez.
started tail end Charlie. Yeah, at that point. So I knew I was kind of confident on how this was gonna go. I kind of knew it was gonna be a caution fest at the end. So at some point, I tried to drive to the front. Surprisingly, I made it somehow. Don't know how that happened. Ran versus Francis in the 48, which, not gonna lie, felt like a Kyle Busch and Dale Jr. moment. Thought I was gonna die, but turns out that didn't happen. And so, on one of the cautions, I saw people going in on like 3 cautions left. Everybody went in, so I'm like, well, I'll pit and just drive to the front like everybody else did. And then caution after caution, I just kept gaining track position. And on the final one, I just was one of the lucky dogs to survive that. So
Well, you brought it home in third, a great points finish for you, and it's great to see you up here. How do you feel about Darlington?
50-50. We'll see what happens.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Tony, that is it for us tonight. Next week is Darlington. It was great having you out here once again. I know you love Richmond, and it's about to be crazy because Darlington is going to be our final race before the playoffs.
Yeah, Darlington is a great way to end your season. You saw people up into the outside wall today a lot. You're going to see it more next week. I can guarantee that, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have to take a look at the standings during the week. I will, and see who's out there and what's going to go on, and I'm going to be here definitely watching. I want to take a moment out to say thank you so very much for putting me up in the booth today, and repeat, I don't even try to fill your shoes, but I appreciate you giving me another opportunity to come out here and commentate with you all and enjoy the racing like we did. 2 great races so far when I've commentated, and again, thank you so much.
All right, we will see you guys at Darlington next Monday night, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Pete, we miss you out here, and he says, good job, Connor. And I know he's excited about Gail also. So great job to these guys. Great win for Micah. We'll see you guys next week.